So we can do what's Hondo on the mic. From Leo's Paradise, random stream drop like a Dragon Ball fight. No lie, plan stream stacking up, but here's a twist in time. Freestyling on the deck like Luffy's punchlines. Up the channels faster than Zoro sword swings. Gaming pop culture, it's the chaos he brings. Talking movie reboots, superhero hype. Hondo passing the mic, now Bishop's in sight. Cutting flip screen, frame by frame, I align. Laying bass lines heavy, keep the rhythm divine. Dropping 5 videos, can't keep up with the pace. Pass the mic back, Leo's leading the chase. Off the rails, no script, just a freestyle ride. Nerdcore king, let the randomness collide. Planning on Leo's got the flow to entice. It's words of paradise, the chaos comes to life. No script, just a freestyle ride. Nerdcore king, let the randomness collide. Planning on Leo's got the flow to entice. It's words of paradise, the chaos comes to life. The rails, no script, just a freestyle ride. Nerdcore king, let the randomness collide. Planning on Leo's got the flow to entice. It's words of paradise, the chaos comes to life.
Welcome back to the lunch hour. How are all you vital idols doing? Although it's not really much of a lunch hour considering for a lot of you guys it's closer to dinner time. Yeah, normally we do this in the afternoon. I know there's only a handful of you watching right now. What up, Schizosaurus? How you doing? Appreciate you, brother. Yeah, because let's be real. Last night, for those of you that saw it, Neon Leon got crazy. And so we asked the chat, look, we can do one of two things. We can either extend Neon Leon, but the show, the lunch hour, would have to be way later in the afternoon if we were going to do that. Because it was like going till damn near 5 a.m. at my time. Everyone was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. So we extended Neon Leon. Caused this to be pushed back, so we're going to go for about an hour and a half before S&H you a nice daily dose of politics before we get into all the gaming nonsense. It's going to be a good show. There's a lot to talk about. There's some stuff I didn't get to from last night, mind you. One of the topics last night we didn't even get to, which was the anti-immigration raids in Japan. Now, we covered a lot of what was going on in the UK last night, but we didn't get to what was going on in Japan. And by God, we got to talk about this. Because Japan, known for being a rather polite country, rather, unassuming, don't talk a lot of smack and whatnot, keeps their head down sort of thing. Even they're like, nah, son. Nah, we can't be doing this. We can't be doing this shit. Yo, what up, Kenneth Domingo? How you doing, brother? You missed anything from last night? I want to see all of a sudden, so you can see the Japanese. You didn't. So the Japanese segment didn't happen because we spent so much time talking ridiculous shit on that terrible anime video, that terrible ranking all the anime from XYZ years video. So we're gonna do the Japanese segment now. So you actually picked a good night to fall asleep. So let's just get right into this, because again, we're not gonna go very long today. We're gonna go for like an hour and 15, hour 20. Then we're gonna raid into Hypno. We're gonna raid into Saturday Night Hypnosis. So let's check it.
Rocked by migrant protests after plans for hometowns for Africans, and it is Japan. Now, when it comes to nationalists, not a lot of us can hold a candle to Japan.
He's right. He's right. When it comes to dude nationalism, Japan kind of got everyone beat. At least when it comes to free countries. Like China probably has Japan beat, but that's like forced nationalism. We're talking about like actual pure in your bones, bread and blood nationalism. Japan might be the best in the game. No, I did not hear about that, Schizosaurus. But if you're in the Discord, put that in the channel so I can check it out.
Because Japan doesn't have nationalists. Japan has what's called ultra-nationalists. Right? Over in England, you get guys that are like, England, yeah, I love the king, I love the royal family. That's all nice and everything, Might throw £0.50 down the road at some packet or something like, they might do that. The Japanese are willing to die for their emperor, and they don't mean that facetiously. Like, they will banzai a plane into a fucking carrier in the name of the emperor. They will do that.
Bro, Japan is like Warhammer 40k, but Asian. You're like, for the emperor, for the emperor.
The Japanese
What up,
nationalists
Not
are
Your
willing
Business
to
Center
die
2?
on the spot for their country. You don't understand how serious they are. Right, which is why this situation in Japan might get pretty hairy. They're serious. They're very serious. A lot of you don't know. Like, the Japanese weren't just committing all those horrific war crimes, you know, just for the fun of it. They were doing it in the name of the emperor. They had the divine mandate, and
Don't blame the individual citizens for the rape of Nanking. It was for the emperor. It doesn't even matter like how old the emperor is, right? Like it could be a fucking 12-year-old emperor. They don't give a shit. What up, Valiant Goat?
But anyway, anti-immigration protests have in Japan after an attempt to create hometowns for people from 4 African countries. The Japan International Cooperation Agency,
Which, mind you, I'm surprised as hell that this even happened. Like the fact that they went through, the Japanese Diet, their version of the government, Parliament, the Congress, things like that. In Japan, it's called the Diet. The fact that they went through the Diet and they actually proposed laws to use Japanese taxpayer dollars to create basically African immigration havens is insane. I cannot believe that was actually even considered, let alone moved on upon.
designated 4 cities.
Skip the source. Yeah, I will update the Discord. I was supposed to update it last night. Because you are a member, so you have access to the Discord. I will update the Discord while we're doing this.
As Africa hometowns for the partner countries of Mozambique, Nigeria, Ghana, and Tanzania. Mbari, Kizarazu, Sanjo, and Nagai will foster ties with the countries through events and overseas volunteers. And I'd be interested to see the crime data that comes out of these places once this has been established. The program aims to revitalize communities in Japan that are facing economic and demographic issues, while also addressing challenges.
I mean, Demon Carroll kind of got a point, though. Demon Carroll kind of got a point. Now, to be fair, I don't think that... So if we're going to be, completely intellectually honest about this, because he says, isn't it funny how the world went to shit after the Africans and goat fuckers started settling outside the regions? It's not them that are doing this. I mean, it is, but it's being enabled by the first world and by the governments. Because let's be real. Africa is, by and large, incredibly underdeveloped, right? Incredibly underdeveloped. Same as these Islamic countries, right? Incredibly underdeveloped. So how do they have the resources, the wherewithal, just the general capacity to do such destabilization? Well, they don't. If they couldn't even create and stabilize their own homes, how would they be able to destabilize ours? Unless they're being aided and abetted by those at the top of the food chain. So yeah, because they keep fucking with. No, it's not. Dude, it doesn't matter it doesn't matter if we're fucking and they're not, or if they're fucking and we're not. The fact of the matter is, we have the power, we have the manpower, we have the military power, we've got the technological prowess to put the kibosh on this anytime we want. The reason it's not happening is because those in power don't want to. It's so, and frankly, it's brilliant. Because the people in power right now who want to create this total global and economic control are like, hey, let everyone focus on how bad all these invasions are, all these African and Muslim invasions right now. They're creating a synthetic enemy. Now, is that shit wrong? Is it bad? Yes, absolutely. And everyone's like, yes, this is terrible. But they don't sit and ask themselves, wait, how did it get this far? Wait, how did they have the power to even do all that? Oh, right, the government must have fucking let it happen. Not only let it happen, aided in it happening. 100%. 100%. They're using this as a distraction tactic.
Challenges in the African countries, because as many people know, Japan has a drastically plummeting birth rate. A very badly plummeting birth rate where they're just not having babies because everybody's a salary man doing 60, 70-hour weeks, and then afterwards you mandatorily have to go to the pub, go home, get 4 hours sleep, and then go straight back to work the next day. Everybody's just...
He's not wrong about that whole going to the pub thing, by the way. That is part of just normal Japanese culture, is that you, I believe it's on Friday nights or once a week or whatnot. Your office just goes out for drinks together to form bonding and stuff like that, and it's just part of the culture. You're expected to do it. It's literally mandatory drinking with your office crewmates. And I get the sentiment. You want to build a strong office bond. But that's, I'm sure after a while, that's pretty rough. That's hard to do. Like, look at the New York mayor regarding what he did to his city. I mean, yeah, we talked about that a million times. It's shown it's shown all the time in anime because it's just a normal part of Japanese culture. Yeah.
Living to work. Nobody even has time for relationships.
Correct. Exactly,
in
Demon
Japan.
Carol. You can't say no.
Right, and it's at the point now where if a couple is seen in public with a baby, it's seen as a, oh my god, wow, a baby. It's like people will come up randomly to like talk to you and like see your baby. They want pictures of your baby because babies are just that rare. Babies are so rare in Japan that it's seen as like an amazing thing. Like, see,
Bro,
over here,
imagine like right now, dude, babies are being treated like goddamn legendary Pokemon. And like, oh my god, what would you trade for it? Well, dude, I got a 75-year-old grandma. She'll cook and clean. Can I trade you my grandma for that fucking baby? Like, that's... I'm obviously exaggerating, but for real, babies are like goddamn Arceus.
when you hear such and such is pregnant, and everyone's like, "Oh, that's amazing, that's well done." In Japan, it's a huge deal.
Same,
God,
Demon
they had a
Carol,
baby,
fucking
their life's
same.
over. Like, yeah, they have a huge problem with their birth rate. Basically, Japan needs to revamp its working culture in a huge way. I mean, it did turn them into an economic powerhouse.
Well, so it's not just the working culture, though. And I don't know if he's going to touch on this, or I don't even know if he knows about this, but there's also a social anxiety culture. Like, you've got this culture of men, I don't even know if we can call them men, of males. They're afraid of women, afraid to talk to women, to the point where the Japanese government has paid cute, attractive female Japanese influencers to create YouTube videos where they just stare into the camera and smile. And they're hours long. And they are hours long. And the reason they're doing this is to try to teach Japanese males to make eye contact. Like, that's how, where Japan is in terms of, like, the social retardation limit is, like, they don't even know how to make eye contact with women, so they're not talking to women. They're cooped up after their office, they're cooped up in their rooms all day, they're playing video games, whatever it may be, and so they're not the men are not socializing with the women, and Japan is funding attractive female YouTubers to just stare into the camera to teach dudes to make eye contact. That is a legit thing that is happening.
It's grand, but I mean, what's the point of building towards an economic future when there's no Japanese people around that can actually fucking enjoy it? But anyway, GICA said in a statement, the GICA Africa hometown aims to further strengthen the relationship that each municipality has built with African countries. Why?
What up, Jeremy?
Who wants to build a relationship with an African country, man?
For real, like, all right, so I've talked about this before, right? I've talked about this before. The city I live in has a sister city in Japan. You know, our sister city is Isesaki. So we have several, like, fundraising campaigns and cultural festivals and whatnot. Like, shit. Actually, the Japanese Cultural Festival is usually in September. Oh, fuck. I hope I didn't miss it. I hope it wasn't this weekend. Shit, if I miss that, I'm going to be pissed. I want to go. Maybe I'll take some pictures, post them on the Instagram. Anyway, that's another point. The point is, where I live, you know, we have a sister city. So we do all sorts of, like, fundraising and foundation stuff and all these cultural exchange programs. We do, you know, exchange students. Why? Because there's Isesaki, a city in Japan that has a partnership with the city I live in. You know, they funded a you know, Japanese botanical garden for us, things like that. Now, why does that matter? Well, because we are cultural powerhouses, right? We are, Japan and America are cultural powerhouses. So it makes sense that we have our governments, you know, talking with each other, working with each other. It makes sense that certain municipalities and certain cities have links with other cities so that you can trade cultural exports, things like that. Point is, we have something to offer. They have something to offer. It's mutually beneficial. What the fuck does Africa have to offer Japan that is mutually beneficial? That's where I'm getting at with all this. Like, it makes sense for Japan and America to have this, and for certain cities in Japan to have this with certain cities in America. But what does Africa have to offer that would actually be of benefit to Japan? Literally, oh, child soldiers, right? Child soldiers. How could I forget?
Anyway, contributing both to addressing challenges in Africa and revitalizing local communities in Japan. I don't think they're going to be revitalized, but anyway, through support.
Oh, butter framed in gold actually might be right. Rare metals. You know what? Japan is not exactly a mineral and mining powerhouse, to my knowledge. So you might be right. Rare metals is actually a pretty fucking valid answer. I hadn't even considered that.
For collaborative events, for example, GICA will continue to facilitate and strengthen international exchanges for each city. The move sparked anti-immigration protests in Osaka and Tokyo, and the 4 cities received thousands of complaints from residents because I think basically, call me old-fashioned, but I think people who are from a community should get to decide what happens in that community. And just that's it.
Blasphemy!
The government can instead come in and go, yeah, see all this like property that we own here, like through thieving taxpayer money. We're just going to use that to house a bunch of migrants and completely alter where you grew up and just make it a thing of the past. Yeah, that lovely childhood and the people in the faces and all that, that's just a thing of the past now. That doesn't exist anymore. You now must live with these people and you don't get a say. I think that's disgraceful, it's disgusting, and it's culture erasure. That's what it is. It's the erasure of a culture and of a people. And you get the same thing, people that bitch about the, Israelis doing that to the Palestinians, but then they sleep when they hear about it happening here, and everything is a joke. Basically, basically the people that are in fucking Westminster and government aren't from these places, and they don't give a shit. They don't give a fuck. They just don't care what happens to these places. They're just there to be used by them because that's the way they see people. You're there to be used. You're a little tax slave. Now hurry up and go.
And that's all governments, mind you. I don't give a fuck how much you love Japan. I don't give a fuck how much you love anime, you love video games, things like that. Japan government got the same issues as ours, as the UK's, as Israel's, as Brazil's. The fact of the matter is, 9 out of 10 times, politicians are fucking evil. And they will use and abuse and exploit your people. Their people, their populace, their constituents, their countrymen. Japan ain't no fucking haven. They got the same evil politicians we do.
To work for fucking 70 hours a week and not breed, while we bring in foreign people who will enjoy all the social services that you pay your taxes for, well, they haven't contributed at all. However, I would love to watch a Nigerian trying to cope with being a salaryman, because Japan, if you think they're going to put in the same hours, you're in for a rude awakening. But anyway, officials in Sanjo were hit with 350 phone calls and 3,500 emails in a 3-day period last week, while Imabari received 460 calls and 1,400 emails questioning whether there was a new immigration policy. In Tokyo, angry crowds gathered outside the GICA headquarters to protest what they thought was the weakening of immigration policies. People were seen holding placards saying, "Protect the Japanese people."
Whatever happened to that Nigerian prince? Oh, dude, simple. Nah, that Nigerian prince, man. So he called a few government agencies. He was like, "Yo, I'm super down on my luck. Just wire me a couple milli, and I can send you back a couple trilly once I reclaim my throne." And he reclaimed his throne. He got it, dude. We sent him a few milli. He reclaimed his throne. He wiped out our national debt, and he's like, "All right, we chill. I'm a peace out." And we never heard from the Nigerian prince again. He fulfilled his end of the bargain. Duh. Everyone knows that.
And held calling for an end to mass migration. Japan's Chief Cabinet Secretary Yoshimasa Hayashi spoke out against claims of special visas for migrants, confirming them as baseless. He clarified there are no plans to promote accepting migrants or issue special visas for residents of African countries.
If there are no plans to promote accepting immigrants or issue special visas for residents of African countries, or any countries, mind you, not just African, any third world shithole countries, why are there Japanese protests about it? Why are there... So what, you're telling me just the entirety of your population's been misinformed and you've got your own version of Japanese QAnon and they're protesting over nothing? I find that hard to believe.
And the series of reports and announcements concerning such measures are not true. So apparently there's not going to be a bunch of migrants coming over, despite the fact that they've called these places migrant hometowns. and are setting aside places for them to live.
Exactly. And that's why I think this is so worth covering, Demon Carol, because the Japanese don't generally protest. It's so rare that the Japanese protest, and yet we have got image after image and video after video of them protesting. So if they're protesting, that means some shit is big.
Governments all over the world like to piss on your leg and tell you it's raining all the time. Mr. Hayashi added that while people from Africa will be coming over as volunteers, they will return to their home countries after completing their training. Oh, like the ones that come over here for university, like those ones, yeah. Oh, yeah, they always go home. Yeah, they always go home as soon as it's over.
Now, to be fair, there are some that do go home, at least here in America. There are some that go home after completing university. It's all the Chinese students. The Chinese ones do go home with all of our information and technology and intellectual property, and yeah, I'll see where that's going.
GICA added, certain local newspapers and the African government have published reports that may give the false impression that, under the GICA Africa Hometown Programme, Nagai City in Yamagata Prefecture would become part of the country of Tanzania. Well, no, okay, that one is ridiculous. Or reports suggesting the promotion of immigration acceptance or the issuance of special visas.
Immigration acceptance is something being pushed in Japan. Now, I don't know how much is being pushed by the government. I'm gonna be real. I'm not some fucking, socio-economic expert on Japanese government. But what I do know is culturally, the youngins in Japanese culture, their version of, let's say, Gen Z or whatnot, are pushing for immigration acceptance. They absolutely are pushing for immigration acceptance. In fact, there have been protests by young Japanese individuals calling for more open borders, less strict immigration. So yes, that is happening. I don't know if it's happening at a government level, but it is happening on a societal level from the younger Japanese populace. Yes, the WEF absolutely wants Japan. Absolutely.
For travel between Japan and the respective countries, which are all factually incorrect. And I hope they are. And that is the end of the article. Now, I don't know how many people from Japan watch me. I imagine it's very, very, very few. The one Japanese person that actually watches these videos. Yeah, they're very interested in Scottish politics and stuff like that. I'm sure it's all the rage over there and all the noodle bars. But basically, don't. Look at the West as an example. Look at Germany. Look at Sweden. Look at England. Like, just look at these places. It's a bad idea. It's become the new socialism. It has failed catastrophically everywhere it has been tried. Right? Mass immigration and diversity doesn't work. Doesn't work. Crime spikes, social services crumble, the police fucking ignore it because they don't want to look racist, and they'll actually start arresting the natives for speaking out against it.
Which, now, that whole, they don't want to look racist part and whatnot, that's a Western thing. I could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure, unless things have changed and I'm not aware of it, the Japanese don't give a fuck about looking racist. The Japanese don't give a fuck about looking racist, bro.
Pan, don't. Just, that's the best advice that I can give you in this situation.
What up, Zax?
Don't.
So yeah, that's that one. I mean, again, we've heard about these Japanese, we've heard about these Japanese movements, we've heard about these Japanese protests. I follow at least one, I think two, but I follow at least one Japanese politician on X who has been talking about these issues, so it's not completely unfounded. That article can say all at once that it's unfounded, but I think we all know the truth. Of course, any article that's, driven by the state is going to be, lied and abused and trying to spin it in a way that, isn't going to make the populace afraid or want to protest or stand up. So, yeah, absolutely. I'm watching Dangular's second channel all the time now. Dude, it's great. It's fucking great. Speaking of, just drop the link to the video in the chat. Watch it, or drop it a like or whatnot to use for content. But yeah, by all means. Well, and that's the thing, Jeremiah. Japan, compared to most other countries, has relatively close borders already. They do. They've got it is very difficult to immigrate to Japan. Alright, it's super difficult to immigrate to Japan. Or at least historically it has been. If things have changed lately, that is the beginning of the end for them. Speaking of staying on that political train, We got some Sargon, baby. Some Sargon. I have no idea what the context of this is, mind you. I was like, all right, what are we going to react to today? I know we're going to talk some Silksong. I know we're going to talk the Japanese immigration issue. But what else? And then I saw this title. One of the worst things I've ever seen. Now, I don't know what the fuck this is. But when you got a title, one of the worst things I've ever seen, either this is bad or your clickbait game is strong. So let's go.
Worst things that I've ever seen in my life. And it is just
What up, Jinty Maxi?
so out there. It's the sort of thing that you would just never would think would happen. And it's a level of savagery that is just, it borders on the incomprehensible. Now, of course, I can't show you the video, but the video is widely available on Twitter. I mean, I saw...
Wait, he can't find the video. Hold on. Let's see if we can find the video. Let's see if we can find the video. My DMs aren't open, right? Yeah, close that. There we go. Alrighty, alright, hold on. Alright, let's wait for more context so I know what to search to find it.
Earlier today, just scrolling through, and it's this. And so, I will describe what happens, but like I said, there is something genuinely wrong with a society that treats its criminals and mentally ill people in the way that modern Western society is.
Wait a sec. Alright, someone says, okay. Matt Fun Cool. When you say you've seen this, do you mean you've seen Sargon's video or you've seen the original video? And if you've seen the original video, how safe for YouTube is it? Because it might be better not to show it. I'm actually not sure since I don't know the context.
So, people back in, like, the 19th century would complain about the asylum system. They'd be like, well, they're just being treated like animals. They're being treated like there's something wrong.
Bro, I mean, he's right. Animals. And these animals need a whole different type of asylum. Oh, he's... Okay, yeah, never mind. We ain't playing that on stream. Never mind. I thought it was going to be like, she gets roughed up or something. She dies. She gets... Okay. Gotcha. Well, I will watch this on my own time. And maybe put out something on it. I didn't realize that it went that hard. Okay. Yeah, I guess we're not watching that on stream then.
Medical techniques and drugs can help these people live normal lives. It's like, yeah, assuming that they choose to take the drugs, assuming they choose to cooperate with the medical techniques. But if they're not under supervision, how are you going to make them do it? But anyway, the asylums were shut down. And so now, insane people who... And that's the best explanation we have so far. It could be there's something far deeper and much more racialized that underpins this, are just free to roam the streets. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, there's a black man, there's a white woman, therefore this is racial. I don't know. Right? I don't know that this is racial. I do know that this person...
Honestly, I think that's fair. I think that's fair for him to say he doesn't know because, look, when you got folk coming over from all these other fucking countries and whatnot, and committing crimes and acting like fucking animals, oftentimes race, I would imagine oftentimes race isn't the reason they're doing shit. Culture is. Like, they've got such an inferior culture, and yeah, I'm gonna play the Asmongold card, and I'm gonna say it, fucking inferior culture. The culture is the issue. So, and maybe it is a race thing, to be fair. But yeah, all I'm getting at is I think that it is fair to not immediately jump to it being a race thing.
Is mental.
What up, Philip? What up, Jamma?
And that is the only legal information we actually have on him yet. But I'm not in any way saying that it's unlikely that he is mental and also hates white people. I think that's very likely. Because what happens here is this is a train. He's just sat on this train. The CCTV are capturing it. And this young lady gets on. She's a Ukrainian refugee. She was 23. She gets on.
Well, so when I say class, when it comes to culture... Jinty Maxi, I think class is wrapped up in that because most of these inferior cultures might, like, you think that there's, economic disparity in the U.S. and in the U.K. and whatnot. Economic disparity is part of the culture of these animalistic countries. You got the Saudi prince, you got the people in the government that are fucking secret trillionaires, and that's 0.0001%. And the rest are all destitute. Like, the class disparity is honestly part of their culture. So, yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, India has a full-on class system. Right. So, that's what I'm getting at. When I say culture, class is wrapped in alongside, like their culture is their class, their religion, all these things wrapped into one. So I get, basically, I agree with what you're saying, so just know that when I say culture, that is already included.
She doesn't even make eye contact. I mean, why would she? He's just like looking out the window. She just gets on, starts looking at her phone. Then after a few moments, he rummaged around his pocket, pulls out, opens a penknife, and then stabs her in the side of the throat. Out of nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. No interaction whatsoever. Just, it's the most savage thing I've ever seen. Now, you'll know that I'm a massive...
It's okay, guys. It's okay. God told him to do it. God was speaking in his head and told him to do it. Makes it all right. As long as God told you to stab the white bitch, then it's okay to stab the white bitch. Duh. Haven't y'all ever had religion before? Come on.
Advocate for the death penalty. So, I mean, I would have him swinging by the end of the day if I were the one in charge of all of this. But of course, that's not the world we live in. And honestly, who bloody knows what's going to happen to him, right? So anyway, there are news reports about this. This is her name was difficult to pronounce because it was Ukrainian. Irina Zarutuska, she was an actual refugee from Ukraine, was stabbed allegedly by DeCarlos Dewan Brown.
So he hasn't mentioned, or if he did, I missed it. Mention where this happened. So is this in the UK? This is in the UK, I assume, because he normally covers UK stories. So am I understanding that she is a refugee from Ukraine who was in the UK? So when it says Charlotte, they meant Charlotte, North Carolina. This happened here in the US. Okay. Well, honestly, if this happened here in the US, even better. Okay, even better is the wrong term. What I mean by that is, comparatively to the UK, we don't give a fuck about punishing migrants. Comparatively to the UK, we will. Like, we will punish migrants. Like, this dude is likely, or at least more likely than the UK, going to have a book thrown at him. If this was the UK, dude would probably get off scot-free. Dude would honestly probably get off scot-free.
Junior. And he was just found wandering around on the platform after people had called the police and they came to arrest him. And apparently he was treated for a hand injury, so he'd injured himself while murdering her, because she was pronounced dead after suffering a stab wound in the throat. Honestly, it's just awful, and I don't recommend that you watch it. It's so savage. There's just no reason for it, and it's just the hardest hit you can straight into her throat, and that's it. And can you remember, like, her day would have been so normal up until that point, I bet, that she's just wandering around, and this happened in Charlotte, North Carolina, I think. But she was just wandering around. There's a completely normal day for her. She's just having a normal day. She just gets on the train. She's going home. And then she's dead. Like, what? Is she somehow responsible for black oppression in America? Like, what the fuck has a Ukrainian girl got to do with any of that? If that is indeed the reason this was done. But anyway, her death has raised new concerns in Charlotte about the safety of public transportation, with community members calling for strong...
No. Hold on. What are they talking about? The safety of public transport. This is safety of your citizens no matter where you are. It doesn't matter if this is public transportation. This could have happened anywhere at any time because these fucking animals are being led into the country. Multiple countries all over the world. All these first world countries. That is such a bullshit phrasing in this article. The safety of... No. Anyway, okay.
Protections on buses and trains. Thing is, it wouldn't have stopped him. It was so quick.
I don't think that's extreme at all, Jeremiah.
Realizes that she's there, gets his knife, and then just stabs her. No, you wouldn't have had time to intervene. It's just one strike and she's dead. Like, the problem is the existence in communities of insane, violent people with mental health problems, and that's the official narrative. Right? You can look at her Wikipedia page. There's a Wikipedia page of this already, right? the suspect, DeCarlos Brown Jr., was a 34-year-old homeless black man with a lengthy criminal record dating back to 2011. He'd been convicted of multiple offenses, including robbery.
Okay, so he wasn't a migrant then. So he wasn't a migrant. He's just a fucking animal. Honestly, I think that makes it worse. I think that makes it worse. Not that it would have been, I don't know, worse is the right word, because I mean, it's not like, oh, it's better if it's a migrant. Like, my point is, how the fuck was this dude, 34 homeless black man with a lengthy criminal record, why is he out and about? Why is he out and about? This is the Carolinas. This is the South, bro. This is the South. The South is supposed to make racism great again, right? South's supposed to make racism great again. The South will rise again. Why was this dude out and about to begin with? I gotta learn more about this.
With a dangerous weapon, breaking and entering, felony larceny, and misuse of the 9/11 system. He'd approximately served 6 years in a North Carolina prison and was released in 2020. Subsequent arrest included charges for assault on a female in 2022 and a misuse of the 911 system in 2025.
Wait, so he was arrested for assaulting a different female in 2022 after 6 years in prison prior, and he's already back out on the street?
Where he claimed man-made material was controlling his body, right? So, I mean, don't get me wrong, he may well have hated white people, but I think it's fair to say that he was also absolutely mental, some sort of absent schizo, right? So you've got a violent schizo on the streets, and everyone knows it. Now, there is the Bukele option, which is lock up violent schizos for the protection of everyone else. You'd be like, oh, but what about the human rights? And Bukele's got a good answer to that. What about the human rights of people who don't want to get stabbed? The human rights of the people who are not doing anything wrong, who are not going around terrorizing society. Isn't that more important than the human rights of the people who are going to terrorize them?
And this is why we need to bring back asylums. This is why we need to bring back, like, dude, reopen the asylums. Like, let's be real. If this dude is schizo and he's nutsoid and whatnot, there is a human rights question, right? Because there is that freedom aspect. And I cling to that, dude. I cling to that freedom aspect. That being, and prison is supposed to be a punishment slash, again, supposed to be, being the operative words here, supposed to be a punishment slash reformation act, or action. Well, there is no reformation for people whose brains are broken. Like, you cannot reform a brain that is damaged like this. That is why we need to bring back asylums. This is why we need to bring back asylums, because there is no alternative. Again, sending them to prison won't do anything. However, keeping them locked up in a non-punishment style facility is honestly the only option. But yeah, the only worry I have about bringing back asylums, the only worry I've got about bringing back asylums is that they be state-funded, state-ran, things like that. And the state sucks at everything. The state sucks at everything. There needs to be some sort of implementation of privatized asylums that are, I don't know how you would get a movement like that going. I don't know how they would make money. Because obviously you don't want them taking state money, because that's just state-funded with extra steps. But we need privatized asylums.
And so, I find myself in full agreement with this. Because, when you see just the amount of times, again, 14 times he's been let.
Bro, he went from Ziggy Marley to Beyonce. Y'all remember when Beyonce, back in the 90s, early 2000s, used to be black, and you look at her now, and she's gone full Michael Jackson? Homie here did the same thing, dude. Like, this is, I see why he's, why he was out and about. He was starting to fit the color chart. Oh, white people don't commit crimes. He was looking whiter and whiter. This makes sense. Dude, the blacks are finding the loophole. All they gotta do is lighten up, literally, and they just go around stabbing motherfuckers.
Out of custody. And you look at his face and you realize this is not a well man. This guy is a maniac. He is obviously someone who doesn't feel remorse. He is someone who doesn't care.
Reverse vitiligo, yes!
There's a reason.
Reverse vitiligo.
Homeless crack addict or whatever. This guy can't function in a free and modern society. This is not the way that he is built for whatever reason. And again, I'm not trying to pass judgment. This is just obviously the case. And you could take...
Agree, Gravestone. That is 14 too many mugshots for a person to have. Well, to be fair, you are being generous calling this a person.
The more sort of liberal perspective and say, okay, he's a man who's been failed by the system. He's a man who needed help and didn't have it. So, yeah, okay. So why allow him to roam around the streets on his own? If he is a dangerous schizophrenic, which, again, is the most charitable interpretation of this, then do we not have an obligation to him as well as society at large to make sure that he's not on the streets? Such people, and I realize it's a bitter pill for the average lib to swallow, but such people must be deprived of their freedom. They are dangerous to themselves and everyone else. They can't be allowed to roam the streets. They are not productive members of society. They're not going to become productive members of society. And if at any point this lunatic had been, okay, right, that's one too many crimes, you're going to the asylum and you're just going to be locked up there. You're just not sane, and we'll have, psychiatric evaluations, blah, blah, blah. Maybe you'll get sane, who knows? But for now, while you're currently mental, and before you just stab some random girl in the neck for having the temerity to exist near you for whatever, it could be the man-made material controlling your...
Okay, Sargon, I know you're better than this, bro. What's going on with your camera? Homie, what's going on with your camera? Come on now, dude. Fix that shit. You're a professional.
Body or whatever it is, you fucking fruitcake. You have to go to the asylum. You should not be out. You are a danger to others. And this is genuinely a real issue. That I know it's, again, difficult for the lib to accept, but there is a much higher rate of schizophrenia in the black community than there is in other communities. Now, I don't know why.
Is that true? Is there a higher rate of schizophrenia? Hold on. Schizophrenia more common in black males? Based on numerous studies over several decades, black men are diagnosed with schizophrenia at a significantly higher rate than white men. While diagnosed disparities will document, scientific evidence does not indicate a higher actual prevalence of the disorder in black populations. Reasons for disproportionate diagnosis complex while diagnostic by it's system bullshit. Hold on, bullshit. No. I don't. We're grokking this. I don't. The moment it says systemic racism, I don't believe it for a fucking moment. I don't believe it for a moment. In fact, not only are we gonna grok it, but we'll also chat GBT it to run a comparison. Because grok takes forever now. Schizophrenia itself does not biologically occur more often in black males than other groups, but research shows black men in the US and UK are diagnosed with schizophrenia at disproportionately higher rates compared to white populations. Key points to understand: overdiagnosis and bias, social factors, true prevalence. Alright, epidemiological studies indicate that while black men are diagnosed more often, the actual biological prevalence of schizophrenia may not be much higher than other groups, meaning the disparity is likely influenced by systemic and social. Ain't no way. I'm not believing that for a moment, because you don't see white people just running around and stabbing people in the neck. Like, what? Does Leon know that Carlos... I did not know that he had a parrot. That's awesome. I did not know he had a parrot. Excuse me, sorry. Allergies. Dude, grok sucks lately, dude. Grok has been taking ages. Yeah, thought for 1 minute and 10 seconds. Schizophrenia affects approximately 0.3 to 0.7 of the global population over a lifetime, with an annual incidence of about 1.5 new cases per 10,000 people. It is a chronic mental health condition characterized by... Well, yeah, we know that. Alright, prevalence by race. Research consistently shows higher rates of schizophrenia diagnosed amongst black individuals compared to white individuals in the U.S., with black Americans being diagnosed 2 to 4 times more frequently. For example, a review of over 50 studies found black people were nearly 2.5 times more likely to be diagnosed with schizophrenia than white people. Lifetime prevalence of psychotic symptoms, a key feature of schizophrenia, is also higher among black Americans at 15.3% compared to 9.7% for whites, 13.6% for Latinos, 9.6% for Asians. These disparities persist even adjusting for These disparities persist even after adjusting for socioeconomic factors, though some studies suggest they narrow. from threefold to twofold. All right, so if we were to be charitable and say, oh, there is, confirmation bias or whatnot, there is racial bias, all it does is drop it from roughly threefold to twofold. However, epidemiological surveys indicate the true underlying prevalence of schizophrenia may be similar across racial groups, with higher diagnosis rates in black people potentially stemming from clinical bias, misinterpretation of symptoms, e.g. confusing cultural mistrust or trauma responses like PTSD with paranoia, or overemphasis on psychotic features while downplaying mood disorders. Environmental factors such as chronic stress from racism, trauma, socio-disadvantaged urban living may contribute to genuinely elevated risk in black communities. I mean, look, I don't know. It seems they all came up with more or less the same answer, whether it be Grok, ChatGPT, Google. So maybe there is some sort of I don't want to use the word systemic, but cultural factor. Maybe there is some sort of cultural factor, but I don't know. No, we have serial killers do this kind of stuff on the sly, like you're supposed to.
No idea why. I'm not a doctor, but the point is that's real and that's true, and so that should be something that's
good to hear,
Schizosaurus.
Right? Also, your name makes a whole lot more sense now. I thought it was just a funny name, but that makes sense now. Thank you for sharing.
Someone for no reason, again in the most barbaric of ways. But the thing is, they acknowledge, oh, there's problems with the criminal justice service in the wake of this, and again, this only happened today, right? So
LMA says, nah, it's a no father in the house factor. To be fair, you could have the perfect life, and we've seen this amongst individuals. You could have a high income, or be born into a family with a high income, be part of the upper class. You could have two parents in the home. If you're born with a broken brain, you're born with a broken brain. Like, unfortunately, mental illness don't give a fuck about how much money you got, or if you got two parents in the home.
This raises questions about the effectiveness of the judicial system,
and yes,
and the community's
well done getting a
mental
handle on that,
health.
Schizosaurus.
Even
Absolutely.
Brown's mother has blamed the courts for allowing her to.
Now, mind you, now that you've said that, I am gonna make so many goddamn jokes about it. Like you shared a vulnerability with us, and I appreciate that as part of the violent community. And by all means, that took bravery, that took guts, that took courage. But we are going to fucking, or at least I'm going to make so much goddamn fun of you if there's good jokes that arise because of it. Just, you've been warned.
To be out in the community. Right. So, again, I don't know that this is a race thing, and a lot of people are trying to make it a race thing, but it doesn't immediately strike me as a race thing. It strikes me immediately as the mother being like, yeah, my son was dangerous to other people. Why are you letting him out? He should be in some place where he doesn't have access to sharp objects forever. Where is it? There we go. Right. So, District Attorney Spencer Merriweather, bound by legal rules, wouldn't comment directly on the case, but he spoke broadly with Axios about the limitations and complexities of holding accountable defendants with mental health issues. Often, defendants must undergo an evaluation to determine whether they are mentally capable of assisting in their own defense. Merriweather noted that some defendants...
See, I have an issue with these mental health tests and whatnot. These mental health tests are administered by other humans. These humans often employees of the state. They're done at state facilities. They're done in state prisons or state jails or city, county. Point is, they're done by what are effectively government employees, and these government employees still have an agenda. Left, right, doesn't matter. They still have an agenda. So that you heard, I don't know about you guys, I have heard of multiple instances where individuals should have been diagnosed with XYZ, but were not because it didn't fit the narrative that whatever political side wants to build. So yeah, I don't put a lot of stock into these state-administered mental health tests.
In mental health facilities for years while courts wait for them to reach capacity to stand trial. In some instances,
32 likes, but
judges
47
eventually
y'all
dismiss
watching.
cases,
Come on now,
releasing
fix that
people who
shit.
commit dangerous acts. They also say the standards for involuntary commitment are more complex than they seem. Okay, I'm not going to go into the details.
Agreed, not
but
your
the
business.
Point being, if someone is not capable, mentally capable, of being involved in their own defense, then why is it that they are mentally capable of being on the streets? Why is it that they are considered to be mentally capable to live in society with the rest of us before they can go on and do something terrible? Like, again, it's not even I mean, it obviously the main cause of concern here is society itself, but also, isn't it bad for them? Like, no, we're just going to release this mentally ill hobo onto the streets. What's going to happen to him? I'm sure it'll be fine. No, it's not going to be fine. It's totally irresponsible. It's like the concept of liberty taken to its most extreme, ridiculous nth degree. These people should be taken care of, and that means if someone isn't mentally capable of even defending themselves in court, they shouldn't be free. They should be in an asylum to make sure they can't harm themselves or others. That's just, I mean, that's the responsible thing to do. That is the social thing to do. To put them out on the streets, like the Democrats doubtless have been campaigning for, that's the irresponsible thing to do. That's the path to anarcho-tyranny. That's not good. This is not good for them. It's not good for us. This solves no problems whatsoever. This doesn't help anyone. These people need to be put back in asylums. And you know what? I'm all for it.
Yes, they do need to be put back in asylums. But before that, we have to reopen the fucking asylums. We've got to it is insane to me. Like, you hear about, oh, so-and-so has been transferred to a mental health facility. What the fuck does that mean? The only mental health facilities that I am aware of are ones for kids. You know, like when you got like teenagers calling like the suicide hotline and like cutting themselves in class and shit and they go away for 3 days. That's not a long-term thing. Like, I am not aware. And that doesn't mean they don't exist. But in my city, aside from the prison, I am not aware of any long-term mental health facilities.
Asylum's great again.
Now, mind you, I worked in law enforcement. I worked at the city jail, things like that, back in the day. So you would think if anyone would know about it, it would be me, because I've actually worked in that goddamn industry, or at least adjacent to it.
This would have prevented this from happening. This isn't a necessary thing. It's not like, well, this is just the risk you take for living in a society. No, this is the consequence of policy. These are choices that we have made. And frankly, we need to unmake. This doesn't have to happen.
So, Zach's actually shared a follow-up, so we're going to check this out. The man accused of Ukrainian refugee, of killing Ukrainian refugee, appears in court. So, we'll watch this, and then we're going to move on to a lighter topic for our final topic before SNH. But yeah, we're going to check this out.
Of killing a Ukrainian refugee on the Lynx Blue Line train is...
Oh, they used the old mugshot based on that Sargon video we just watched.
Sitting in jail after making his first court appearance just this morning. WCNC Charlotte's...
First court appearance? Why he need more than one? It sounds to me like they got footage of him full on stabbing that girl, murdering her. That should be a one and done. You go to court, you show the jury that video, and the jury says, let's wrap this shit up. Let's wrap this shit up. Yo, they're doing like a 2-for-1 steak special at the Steak and Ale down on 4th Street. I kind of want to get some steak. Let's hang the motherfucker and go grab some lunch.
Jesse Pierre is live outside of the Mecklenburg County Courthouse. Jesse, you've been following this from start to...
Cryptic, you're right. He is in it, and I'm a huge proponent. I'm a huge proponent of innocent until proven guilty. I will always stand for innocent until proven guilty. I'm pretty sure you're proven guilty. And I know you're being facetious. I'm just saying in general. I'm pretty sure you're proven guilty when there's video evidence of you stabbing someone in the throat. Like, I doubt the CCTV footage was AI.
Finish. You spoke to the family today. What plea did they make in court?
Yes, that's right. Now, the uncle of Irina Zarutska making a plea to the judge to keep DeCarlos Brown behind bars, saying that if he is released, he'd be a menace to the community. The judge agreed, and Brown will stay in jail. 34-year-old DeCarlos Brown, who has a lengthy criminal record, facing a judge for the first time Friday. He appeared virtually for his hearing because of health issues. Brown is...
Oh, man, this is recent then. If he appeared, that means he appeared yesterday. This dude's fucking first appearance before a judge was yesterday. Nice.
charged with first-degree murder after the deadly stabbing that claimed the life of 23-year-old Irina Zarutska. The incident happened the night of August 22nd on the Blue Line. According to court records, Brown fatally stabbed Zarutska, who sat across from him, stabbing her multiple times in the throat. The two did not know each other. The violent incident sending...
I don't know if it's, like, disrespectful or whatnot, considering she's dead and all, but would. Absolutely would.
Times in the
Just
throat.
so y'all know.
The two did not know each other. The violent incident sending shockwaves through the community. In court, Zarutska's uncle referring to her as a sweet angel, a bright and beautiful woman who was stolen from their family, and they say they are heartbroken.
How fucked up is it that she was an actual refugee from Ukraine? Like, hold on, let's let this sink in. She was a refugee. She came here because of the dangerous situation in her home country. She was afraid for her life. We granted her asylum. This is an actual legitimate refugee case. And she died here to some random schizo that wasn't behind bars. She actually had a better chance of living had she stayed in her war-torn country, with bombs being dropped on the daily. That is, if that doesn't tell you how far America has fallen. Yeah, she escaped war just to die on some bus, well, train, at the hands of a psychopath. That is, bro, that's fucked up. It's fucked up. Couldn't have even killed Uggo. Had to kill a hot one.
This is unimaginable loss. No family should ever have to experience such pain from a senseless act of violence.
Meanwhile, Kat says it is being proactive in improving riders' safety, from increasing patrols in security hotspots, cracking down on fare evasions, and repeat offenders. But is it enough?
No, it's not enough. It's not. This is the second time we've heard this framed as like, oh, the train company was at fault. The train company was at fault. They need to do better. What the fuck do you mean? Maybe this is me, maybe like sucking Big Daddy Corpo dick, but I don't think the train company could have done anything about this because this motherfucker shouldn't have been on the streets in the first place.
Loved ones of Zarutska calling to city leaders to take action.
Exactly,
Demon
Demon
to
Carol.
provide us immediate actions that we need to keep our riders and our operators safe.
Our crime rate is down compared to other cities, but that has no impact on those individual families that have faced whether losing a loved one, whether they've been a victim of a crime. The reality is we need more officers.
Now, Brown will be back in court on September 19th. His defense attorney will also have him evaluated for competence. Live outside.
All right, why? We know he's incompetent. We know he is incompetent. So then what happens? My mouse looks like it's picking this guy's nose. I'm not going to move that. We know this guy is incompetent. But what's the angle? What are they going to do? Throw him in prison? He gets out in 4 or 5 years? And then what? Does it again? Like, where do you go from here? Why would you take the deep end? Well, so Demon Carol, this is very obviously a case of this guy is not being represented by a private defense attorney. He is being represented by a government funded defense attorney. He is unless he chooses the option to represent himself, which he's not going to do. It is mandated that you get your own defense attorney provided to you by the system. So you have defense attorneys that have to take these cases. Yeah, public defender, exactly. You have public defender that have to take these cases, and one of two things happen. They're either going to half-ass it, rightfully so. They're not really going to put up much of a defense because, well, this is fucking obvious. Or they're going to try every single legal loophole in the goddamn book to get this guy off so that it builds their reputation as a good lawyer so that they can start their own private practice. That's the way these things happen in the U.S. You've got public defenders that do everything they can to get the worst of the worst, either off completely or with lower sentences or whatnot, so they can build the reputation as a good lawyer, or they half-ass it because, like, this is a no-win scenario, and so they just let the dude, which is fine. That second one I don't care about. I actually find the first option to be far more egregious. They care so much about their career, their reputation, their opportunity, that they will effectively lie, cheat, and steal the system for their own future gains. So, but yeah, point is, that is why he does have defense, assuming he's not opting to defend himself.
Out of the Mecklenburg County Courthouse, Jesse Pierre, WCNC Charlotte.
All right, Jesse, we will be there for that as well.
Alrighty. What a day. What a day. Why don't we go ahead and move to something lighter for the end of this, and then we'll raid into Hypno. Which, of course, I'll be on that show as well. No Zach's tonight, mind you. No Circle of Jerks, unfortunately. But we'll do one more. We'll talk about Silksong, because I'm going to be real. I don't know much about Silksong. I didn't play the first one. I know a lot of people love the first one. And I'm sure I would love it too if I played it. I love those sorts of games, dude. I do. I love those sorts of games. I never played it. It was never really on my radar. And so when Silksong came out, now that being said, I knew about its reputation. I knew this game was going to do gangbusters, right? What I didn't expect were other indie developers and journalists and whatnot talking about how this game, doing the numbers it does, could be a bad thing? What? Wait. Silksong being a massive success is and I've seen a lot of people in our sphere do videos on this. And I was like, well, yeah, it makes sense. It's popping off in the algorithm, talk about it. But, like, I didn't cover it because I'm like, well, yeah, a lot of this stuff is obvious, you know? It's not even the sort of grip that I want to entertain. Not shading those that do, by all means. Griff, motherfucking Griff. I'm down, bro. Get that bag. But it wasn't something I really want to entertain. Until I started seeing tweets from individuals, like, again, saying that this game is going to damage the gaming industry. What the fuck you mean damage the gaming industry? This is the sort of shit that we need. This is the sort of shit that we need. Exactly, Person 11. Other indie devs are saying that this is harmful to the gaming industry. Not just AAA, but other indie devs. So what are you talking about? This is proof that you can be an indie developer and you can go toe-to-toe with the big boys. So yeah, this is a short video. It's only 3 minutes long, but let's take a look at this.
Got an all-time peak player count on Steam of 587,000. And
bro, I ain't seen an indie game do these sorts of numbers since probably Schedule 1. Did Rebo do these sorts of numbers? Hold on. Let's check. Whoops. God damn it. Steam. Hold on. I thought I had them tabbed. Is it Steam DB? Or is it Steam Charts? I don't remember. Hold on. Let's do Steam DB. And then we'll do let's do Schedule 1 first. Alright. Schedule 1, what's their all-time player count? Where is it? I don't remember. No, it's price. Alright, here we go. Charts. Alright. Alright, all-time player count, nearly 500,000. Right? Nearly 500,000. 24-hour peak. We got, players right now, 33,000. There's 30. This game is still popping off, bro. This came out like what, January or something? What is this, sir? March. It came out in March, all right? I love this game, dude. I play Schedule 1 all the goddamn time. I fucking love this game, dude. This was made by one guy. One dude It's still in early access. Blows the fuck up. This was a revolution. This was a phenomenon. What about Repo? What about Repo? Not as good, but still pretty damn fucking good for an indie game. Almost 300,000 all-time peak. A bigger 24-hour peak than Schedule 1. 44,000 people. Bro, me, Cinny, Zax, Niat, Mizu, Lum, we had like a blast doing a repo party a couple months ago. We had a blast doing a repo party a couple months ago. This shit was fun as fuck. I want to do it again, dude. Me, Zax, Niat, Cinny, Lumi, Mizu, dude, it was fucking hilarious. I clipped a video from all the best moments. Nick was there. Plat Strikes Back. Nick was there. Nick had some funny ass fucking moments. We had like a 6-hour stream. Dude, I clipped together like a 10, 20-minute video of just like some of the funniest moments. Zax would say ridiculous shit. I was dying for ridiculous reasons. It was fucking funny. My point is, this is an indie game. Came out of fucking nowhere. So you got Silksong, dude. You got Silksong. Almost 600,000 all-time peak and looks like he's growing. How is this up? Like, why would this make indie developers upset spaghetti?
150, which is really cool. Congrats. However, some of the so-called modern audience are actually very upset at Silksong. At the lower part of this tweet, we can see this account Stealth saying, many indie developers are delaying their games to get out of Hollow Knight Silksong's way. They had marketing plans, which now have to be changed because of something they couldn't anticipate.
Oh, fucking well. Oh, fucking well. That's part of how the industry works, guys. It's part of how the industry works. The big boys do it, too. Now, dude, whenever you get, like, a new Call of Duty or something like that, some of the lesser AAA games, like, fuck, there's a new Call of Duty coming out that week. All right, we got to push it back. Happens in the movie industry. How many times you see a studio like, okay, we've got a release date for June 7th. Wait, what? Oh, there's a new Marvel movie coming out June 7th? What I mean to say is we have a new movie released for September 23rd. Like, happens all the fucking time. That's just part of the industry. You move on, you adapt. Sucks to suck.
This Joseph person says, I think Silksong's 2-week PR push has done some damage to other indie studios. I don't think Team Cherry thought about the impact this game would have on other indies in their marketing. I think
they're not obligated to. They're not fucking obligated to. Fuck them homos. Who gives a shit? They're your rivals. They're your competitors. You're not gonna go goddamn easy on them and not make that coin because, oh, what about the... No, fuck that. That's your competition, homie.
that's a bummer that I hope isn't replicated, to be honest. Wario64 tweeted, Baby Steps is the latest game to move its release date because of Silksong from September 8th to September 23rd.
Good. Move your release date. That's fine. 2 weeks ain't gonna fucking hurt you.
And this FaceTime account saying, I can't be the only person who thinks it's kind of messed up for Silksong to reveal its release date so late. Like, man, you're indie developers. You should understand the struggle that studios go through. And
No. Nah, fuck that. This is what the gaming industry needs to be. Not just indie. I like that this is what indie's doing, but this is what the gaming industry in general needs to be doing more. Stealth drop. Stealth motherfucking drop. Bro, Oblivion remake was a stealth drop, son. And look at the numbers it did. Hold on. Let's take a look at the numbers it did. Let's stop talking about indie for a moment. Oblivion remastered, right? Oblivion remastered. Stealth drop. 200,000 players. Stealth drop. I'm goddamn tired of these 2, 3, 4 years fucking marketing bullshit. Stop that gay shit. I don't give a fuck. I'm tired of all this hype, all this, bullshit astroturfing of these fucking games. I want to see more, dude. If Bethesda stealth dropped Fallout 3 remake tomorrow, I'd be like, fuck yeah. I'm not buying it because I'm sure there's some gay ass woke shit in it. I'm sure you've changed some stuff, but fuck yeah, stealth drop.
Then we've got this account Strife saying, by the way, Team Cherry absolutely had the responsibility of giving a heads up about the release of
They did
Silksong
not.
and accommodating other indie devs in regards
Oh
to
my
it.
god!
Art is-
I saw your comments, Lozy, but I didn't think about it. Yeah, Blue Sky. This says it all. Fucking Blue Sky.
made in a vacuum. And as indie devs, they absolutely should know how hard it is for other indie devs to be visible. And some gaming journalist article titled, "Is Hollow Knight Silksong's cheap price a problem for other indie games?"
No! No, the fuck it ain't. What are you talking about? 20 bucks is perfect for this style of game. I was watching Philip Chan play it last night. Perfect. Perfect price for this sort of game. 20 bucks. Why would that be a problem? This is what gaming needs. These developers have proven they understand gamers.
Devs and publishers weigh up its impact. It's a very odd thing. I mean, indie devs should be celebrating the success of Silksong, not complaining about it. And to be fair, there have been lots of devs congratulating Silksong. However, clearly, some aren't.
Permaband is awesome. I like. Oh, my thing is cutting off. So this is a Permaband account. Me and them have talked about coming on the show. They are incredibly busy, but they want to come on. I would love to get Permaband on Countercast. Great account. If you don't follow them, check them out.
And instead, they're insulting Silksong and the devs who worked on it. And it comes off
Holy
like
shit, you're right, Demon Carol. A repeat of the Baldur's Gate 3 fiasco. You're entirely correct.
jealousy. And like they're just trying to muddy the waters of the indie scene, really. Because over recent years, we've seen indie games becoming beacons of light for gamers in an industry that's otherwise infested with corrupt AAA greed. Artur, the dev behind the indie series Soul Ash, would give his thoughts. We can see him saying here, some devs have become dependent on press, experts, publishers, conferences, awards, and a network of corporate friendships, and it shows. In other words, some of them are apparently selling out to the very AAA corpos that have pushed gamers away and more into the indie scene to begin with.
Exactly. Look, when we say the future of gaming is indie, which I've been saying for ages, I've been saying this is way before I even had a channel, right? The moment, I don't know about, and to be fair, some of you guys probably knew this way before me. Some of you guys probably knew, but the moment I knew the future of gaming was indie was when this game came out. Hold on. Shovel Knight release date. When did it come out? 2019? Nah, maybe it wasn't Shovel Knight then. Hold on, because I thought Shovel Knight came out before Cuphead. Okay, yeah, Cuphead. Cuphead was the game that made me realize indie is the future. Independent is the fucking... And again, I feel like I was late to the game with this belief. I mean, 2017, that's almost 10 years ago. I feel like there were people saying that well before me. So it's not like I'm some fucking revelation of like, oh my god, look at me. No. I'm late to the party, and I've been saying this since 2017. Indie has been the future. So if these slat-jawed homos want to fucking like sell out the Big Daddy Corpo, then fuck them. They don't understand why we have been saying indie is the future. We've been saying indie is the future because, in my opinion, gaming been on a decline for a while. Dude, I almost, unless it was a Sonic game or a Resident Evil game, I almost entirely, or just classics that I was going back and revisiting, basically, unless it was a Sonic game or a Resident Evil game, I didn't play almost any new releases for like 3 years. Or I waited for them to go like heavily on sale. Like Insomniac Spider-Man, I don't think I played that until a year after it came out. I think I waited like a year. And I got it on sale plus all the DLC. Got that super cheap. And it wasn't even because of wokeness or any of the ideological shit. I was just bored, dude. There was a period of time from like 2016 through like 2018 where I just didn't give a fuck about new games because they were boring, bro. Boring. So yeah, I've been building up a hatred towards the modern AAA industry for a fucking minute. So these indie devs want to start sucking Big Daddy Corpo dick, fuck them. You guys can go the same way as the AAAs. I don't give a fuck.
He would go on to say, many independents are still trying to preserve the meaning of the indie dev term, but it's being divided and conquered by larger interests. Which takes us to Madam Savvy, who responded to Permaband in the tweet that we had on screen a moment ago. And she says the reason why this happens is because a lot of quote-unquote indie games and companies are captured. They play by the rules set forth by DI groups so they can be rewarded.
This is true. I've called out many an indie game because whenever, there's a lot of anti-woke YouTubers and whatnot, Endymion, for example, who's all like, AAA is dead, AAA is all woke, all DEI, yada, 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 future is indie. Whoa. Shut the fuck up. Just because something is indie doesn't mean it's going to be free of fucking ideology. These indie games, so many of them still have that shit. Something being an indie game is not good enough to, is not reason enough to fucking purchase it. Alright, if you're anti-woke and shit like that, you better stick to being anti-woke regardless of whether it's a AAA game or an indie game. 46 likes, yes!
Silksong's team didn't do that. They did their own thing. Anyone can release anytime for any price with zero notice. The individuals outing themselves with that language most likely have some interesting connections to industry capture crews. Now, ultimately, I think most indie devs, and when I say most, I mean like 99% or so, by far pretty much all of them, are still very cool, hardworking people. But it is concerning that there's a very small fraction who are apparently willing to sell out to corporate interests and do what they can to subvert the indie genre. But let me know what you think about all this stuff in the comments. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you have...
Alright, yep, I'll show this in the chat, and then we'll get ready to raid Hypno. Give about 5 more minutes, give or take, and we'll raid Hypno. Yeah. Dude, fuck these devs, man. Fuck any of these devs that are willing to sell out to Big Daddy Corpo. Like, if you were an indie dev, and you were upsetting spaghetti at Silksong and the Silksong devs for doing exactly what they should be doing, you are the enemy. You are equally part of the problem. I'll die on that hill. Like, if you're an indie dev and you are upset that Silksong is, quote unquote, like destroying the indie scene or whatever, get the fuck out of here. You are biting the hand that feeds. You should be celebrating the success of Silksong. Because Silksong proves that you can... Dude, Cuphead proved it. Hollow Knight proved it. Hollow Knight, sorry. Shovel Knight. I mean, Hollow Knight as well. The first Hollow Knight fucking proved it. More recently, Schedule 1 proved it. Rebo proved it. There are indies out there that are... Dude, it's like Captain America in the comics, standing up to Thanos, looking up at him, and basically saying, do it! Now, to be fair, in the comics... Thanos did do it, and he killed Cap in one fucking shot. Like, Captain America stands up, looks Thanos in the eye, he's like, fucking do it, son. And Thanos one punches Cap into oblivion. He did. But, ignoring the context of whatever happens after, certain indie devs are looking AAA in the face and saying, come at me, bro. And this is what you want to see. It's what you love to see. It's what I fucking love to see. So yeah. Yeah, fuck it. And I'm not saying this is widespread, but I've been seeing on X. I saw it fucking earlier today. I saw it last night. I saw it prior to streaming yesterday. So I don't know how widespread it is, or if it's just an algorithm or whatnot. But yeah, if you are an indie dev and these are the opinions you have, go fuck yourself. You do not have the best interests of gamers at heart. And that's what we want at the end of the day. It is that simple. All right, Hypnotic. I'm setting up the raider right now. What the fuck? Why is... There we go. Okay. All right, I've got the raid set up. We're going to go ahead. We're going to call it here. I got to get prep for SNH. So we're going to raid into Hypno. I want all y'all... There's 45 of you here. I know so many of y'all motherfuckers watch Hypnotic. So I want you to make a splash. Let's show the bigot army what the motherfucking Vital Idols can do. Every one of y'all get in there, type Vital Idol Raid, and let's show the bigot army what up. So until next time, it's all here in the... before we go. Tomorrow, because we hit tier 3, because you guys are mad lads. Because you're fucking mad lads. Tomorrow, before we will be doing the Sunday special stream. Sundays, I'm not sure what time yet, because if you can't tell, my voice is already going, and I still got SNH tonight, so I'm going to take all tonight off after SNH. I'm going to sip tea, I'm going to play video games, I ain't going to do shit. I'm going to give my throat a rest, so that I could do my show tomorrow, then Niat's show, then Gooch's show. Plus, I probably got to make like a video. I got to prep for Countercast on Monday. Point is, Sunday special stream tomorrow. But the reason I'm bringing this up, no politics. Since it's the Sunday special stream, no politics. Still doing reaction videos and whatnot, but it's going to be all fun shit. All fun shit, all funny shit, all interesting shit, but no politics. That's going to be tomorrow's only real rule. Unless it's like funny political shit. No people fucking being murdered by migrants, no UK stuff. Well, I want to make sure all y'all know. But yeah, if you want those stuff in the reacts, I've got stuff I want to react to that I've been holding off. If you want those stuff in the react channel. But yes, that's what we're going to be doing tomorrow. And who knows how long we're going to go tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe I'll do it for 5 hours. Maybe I'll stream for 3, 8. I don't fucking know. So just make sure you got notifications turned on. Make sure if you're in the Discord, you're checking out. We got shit to do, son. So, all right. We're going to raid Hypno. Vital Idol raid in the comments. And we got a 5-banger right at the end because I like your shirt. Base! Butter framed in gold. My man with a plan. Let's see. What do we want to give you? We'll give you this one right here. I will come anywhere you want me to come.
All over his backside, run!
I want to fuck you in the ass right now. Thank you. It's nice to get some appreciation around here.
Bingo, bango, bongo. There it is. Alrighty, we out. It's all here in the Neurosphere. Vital Idol raid in Hypno's comments. Let's go.